So we've talked in the past about how Fred Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood is famous for having said that anything human is mentionable, and anything that is mentionable is manageable. So sort of the same thing we're talking about here right now, about letting go of this idea that you're not allowed to be flawed. You're not allowed to be a human being. You have to be more than a human being. It's kind of the whole reason why I did the infamous sex episode back, I think it was in the second season. It wasn't just so that I could talk about my sexual conquests and stuff like that. It's that everything that I have done, everything that I've fantasized about, all of my sexual cravings and desires, as embarrassed as it might make you feel, it's normal. It's natural. Those desires are natural. Those cravings are natural. It's part of the human condition. Now, I'm not saying that just because a person craves a thing, or just because they have a desire, that it's healthy to just grant yourself every desire. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that having the desire in and of itself is natural. I'm not saying that morally it is okay to go chasing and fulfilling every single secret desire that I walk around with. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that having the desire at all is natural. It's a natural part of the human experience, of the human condition. We were talking about this on the group, on the Last Symptom community there on Locals. And I brought up Fred Rogers again. But the way that I applied this was I told folks to think about the pictures folder on their phones. If somebody got a hold of your phone, got a hold of your pictures in your phone, got into the hidden file of your phone, would they be able to terrify you, blackmail you, or shame you with what's in there? Now, don't worry, I don't have access to your phone. I'm just asking you, it's a thought experiment. Think about your phone right now. Maybe some of the text, what if they could get into your text messages? What would they find there? How would that make you feel? Would you feel ashamed? Would you feel embarrassed? Got into your pictures. Would you feel ashamed? Would you feel embarrassed? Now, assuming that you have nothing illegal on your phone, let me ask you this question. Do you think your phone is any different than anybody else's phones? Think about that. Do you think that your phone is any different than anybody else's phones? What you got on there and stuff. Things that you're terrified for that you'd be terrified for other people to see or to get a hold of. I'd like you to try to see the freedom from self-imposed slavery that comes from realizing that you aren't some sort of extreme weird case of humanity, but that you are instead a human being. And part of being a human being is accepting the weird things that human beings do. Think about sexting or people texting nudes to each other. If you've done that, and you probably have because most people have, how did you feel about it afterwards? Like I said, we're not talking about anything illegal here. I'm talking about things that are completely legal and that most adult people engage in. Once you see that it is a natural tendency of human beings to do a thing, and you realize, it's your tendency too, what is there to be ashamed of? What is there to be ashamed of? So again, when I did the sex episode back in season 2, the whole purpose of that was, it was my way of saying, look, anybody who wants to pretend that they haven't felt these exact same types of desires or fantasies or daydreaming about having such experiences is lying. They're lying. And there were people who dropped, their subscription to the podcast that day and never come back. Those aren't very emotionally honest people. because they have fantasized about some of those things, and they have not turned the channel on TV when some of the certain things like that have appeared on TV and those sorts of things. So if a person's in denial about what their real feelings and desires are, that person is the one with the problem. And once again, I'm not saying that it's healthy to give in to every single desire that as human beings we might experience. But I am saying that the only healthy way to live is to accept that those desires are really there when they are there. You can't identify, understand, and properly manage or fix anything that you refuse to accept is there in the first place. That was the whole point of that episode.